Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice for radio. So today, we're going to be looking at a new Goldeen card. Goldeen has always been one of those fairly inoffensive Pokemon that I never thought I would get excited about. But ladies and gentlemen, there's a new Goldeen card. And I'm a little bit excited about it. Our translation has come from the lovely David Hochmann, who at this stage, you should be used to hearing that, to be honest. And it's a fairly unassuming Stage 1 Pokemon with a single attack. But this could be really, really good. So, it is a water Pokemon, which is great at the moment. Water Pokemon means you get access to Brooklet Hill to search out your basics, which is awesome. And it means you get access to Aqua Patch to accelerate some energy. And it means you get access to Quagsire to move your energy to your active Pokemon. But of course, moving energy round, accelerating energy is going to be fairly irrelevant here. You can see from the attack cost on the screen, this attacks for a single energy. Now, the weakness to grass isn't ideal, but you got 100 HP, right? 100 HP kind of sucks. The worst thing about having 100 HP is that in Expanded, you can't use Level Ball to search it out. Hey-ho, Retreat Cost to 1 is quite nice, so maybe you're playing a skateboard. Even if you're not, to be honest, a Pokemon that attacks for 1 energy that has 1 retreat, that kind of writes itself in terms of combo. In terms of being a water Pokemon, you're hitting weakness on Blacephalon. That's probably the best attacker in the game at the moment. Alrighty then, what does it do? Well, 1 water energy, flip 2 coins, this attack does 30 damage times the number of heads. That is not good, and that does not make it worthy of having a video. If this Pokemon has a tool card attached to it, flip 6 coins instead. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now we are talking. You are flipping 6 coins, and you are doing 30 damage for each heads that you flip. Now, best case scenario here, you flip 6 heads, you do 180 damage. That's pretty gosh darn good. 180 damage means you're getting a KO on that Tapu Lele, for instance. Or it means you're getting a KO on a Rayquaza. It's not going to happen all that often, but then again, remember that with a choice band and 6 heads, you'll be up to 210. You'll get a 1-hit KO on Zoroark. Life will be good. I'm going to be honest with you, right? As much as I like this attack, and I do, I think relying on flipping 6 heads is not the best strategy to go for. Assuming a 50% chance of hitting a heads, which unless you're using a weighted coin or dice, you will have exactly that 50% chance, you should be hitting 3 heads here. You should be getting 90 damage. Well, you know what? 90 damage for a single energy on a non-GX Pokemon? Yes. Like, that to me seems like a really good thing. 90 damage for a single energy is good. What you are going to be able to do here is get evolving Pokemon, so I expect Gardevoir to be a lot better now that Tag Team GXs are coming out. So you're getting a 1-hit KO on that Ralts, while also getting a 1-hit KO on that Curlier. And fine, you're quite a way away from getting a 1-hit KO on Gardevoir, but you're taking out the pre-evolutions. And remember, you're not locked into having to play Goldeen as a Pokemon in and of itself. You don't have to play a 4-4 Goldeen line with no support. You can play it with Quagsire and just build up Quagsire for big attacks. You can play it with that new Gyarados. Gyarados probably needs to be played by itself, but it's the awesome one that lets you look at the top 7 cards of your deck and do 30 damage plus 30 more for each water energy that you find. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that Gyarados. You can play it with any water Pokemon you like. Play it with Quagsire and Suicune GX. I mean, we've all seen that Naganadel Quagsire is a good combo at the moment. Naganadel gets energy out the discard pile to itself, and then Quagsire moves it wherever you want. Goldeen can be a backup attacker, but it can be a really good, efficient, single energy, single prize Stage 1 backup attacker. And if you're playing a water deck, you're playing Brooklet Hill, so it's not going to be the hardest thing to search out ever, and then you've got this attack. And remember here, if you're hitting an average of 3 heads, then you're doing an average of 90 damage, and oh look, Blacephalon just happens to have 180 HP and a weakness to water. Funny how that worked out. If you're hitting for weakness, this is just plain flat out phenomenal. But while we're talking about fire Pokemon, let's mention Victini here. Because we've got the Victini from Guardians Rising that basically says that if you're flipping coins for an attack, you can reflip them. Now, you've got to reflip all 6, okay, but if you really need 4 heads to get a KO, and you whiff, then you can reflip and try and get those 4 heads. I mean, look, there will be some times where in an absolute emergency you need 6 heads, and Victini will give you 2 chances. Victini does not stack, it's 1 Victini maximum. If you could use multiple Victini, that would be amazing, because, well, then you'd just be able to keep going until you hit 6 heads. But then again, if you could play multiple Victini, everyone would just be playing stuff like Pachirisu that paralyzed on a coin flip, and they'd be flipping 5 coins, and if one was heads paralysis, and the game would be garbage and ruined. So maybe don't stack Victini. This can get a little bit awkward against some non-GXs. So if you take something like Granbull, for instance, because it's got 130, not 120, and I've told you a million times on this channel about how 130 is so much better than 120, White Kyurem falls down in the same camp, as does Baby Buzzwole. Hey, Nick! You need 5 heads, because 4 heads will only hit 120. That can be a little bit of a problem. And I worry that, especially against beefier non-GXs, you are going to struggle to get up to the numbers here. But Stage 1 single energy makes it really easy to put in a deck, and if you're against GXs, let's not forget Shrine of Punishment. Puts 1 damage counter on each Pokemon EX and GX between turns, and this is going to add up quite nicely. So what you do here is you just flip your 6 coins. Hopefully you're doing 90 to 120 damage. You've got Victini, so you should be doing decent damage. And then you've got Shrine of Punishment, and then fine, maybe you're doing 100, 130 damage with Shrine of Punishment. And then another 10 after their turn. But remember, you're giving up 1 prize per turn. And if you can get a few attacks off with Goldie with a Shrine of Punishment out, this will add up quickly. Yeah, you're vulnerable to Ace Roller shenanigans and Max Potion shenanigans, which will probably increase as Tag Team GXs get a little bit more popular. But you know what? That's a risk we have to take. In terms of tools, because remember, you only get to flip the 6 coins if you've got a tool on Goldeen. In terms of tools here, obviously Choice Band is the most relevant one here. But you can use a skateboard to give yourself free retreats, which is kind of nice. Or you can use Choice Helmet to reduce damage done to you by 30 from EX and GX Pokemon. I mean, there's plenty of different options here. I worry about Goldeen that maybe you're not quite hitting up to the upper echelons, especially for non-GXs, but I cannot stress enough the importance of having a single price, single energy attacker. 90 damage will often be enough. I mean, if we just had a non-GX Pokemon that did 90 for 1 energy, that would be pretty good. Because if you're not KO'd here, maybe you're using Choice Helmet to give yourself a little bit of survivability, you can use Max Potion. And something like a Zoroark, okay, they can use a Devoured Field or a Professor Kukui, but if you've got a Choice Helmet on and they don't use one of those cards, they're only hitting 90 damage and you're actually going to survive, and then you can 2-hit KO a Zoroark. I mean, you've got the tiny chance of 1-hit KOing, but like I say, let's not be relying on that. I like this card, so let's give it between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. It's not often going to be a big powerhouse 1-hit KO GX's kind of deck, although sometimes it will be. But consistent damage, which is decent for a single energy on a single prize Pokemon, there are much worse things you can do. I kind of like it. But I suppose at this stage it's probably fair to ask you lovely ladies and gentlemen if you kind of like it. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, but please remember the most important rule as always. Be nice, would ya? It is a very important rule. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/TheWassie. patreon.com/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus pods and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. That's where that happens. And do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays, where we talk Keyforge and Transformers. And we did a video the other day about a Street Fighter tabletop game, which incidentally looks awesome. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves. Until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.